Welcome to Metro Cannabis Solutions. I'll be sharing today with you solutions that we have placed in North America, South America, Europe, and even Africa. We're going to start with a process overview map and take you through room by room the Metro solutions. So let's get started and walk through that facility. Cannabis grow facilities are required to have a gowning room. Gowning rooms provide a space for workers and visitors to put on face masks, hairnets, gloves, and coveralls before entering the growing and processing areas. This is to protect the plants from any outside contaminants. Metro offers a variety of easy to sterilize solutions for this area, including garment racks, shoe racks, and gowning benches. Next, we move to the cloning and propagation room. The propagation of new plants is either by seeds or by clones. Clippings are taken from the mother plant and they're put into a medium under a lighting system, which begin the rooting process. Once the plants have rooted and begin to grow, they will be moved to the vegetative room to grow to their full potential. We suggest MetroMax polymer shelving or MetroSeal, which is an epoxy-coated wire, both of which contain microban. The one item we do not recommend for this room is chrome. And the reason for that is there is water in this room and humidity, and the chrome can rust. And you never want anything to inhibit the growth of this plant. Here's one real cloning solution that we installed, which has a quick track on the bottom. So they're using a high density system to maximize the space for their cloning. On to the vegetative and flowering room. Vegetative and flowering areas provide a space for the ideal temperature and environment for cannabis to begin budding for harvest. You will find very, very large benches in this area where plants are sitting on the benches and they're hydroponically fed. Metro's offerings for this room really include mobile carts that would either be wire or polymer to move the plants to and from the rooms. Now let's talk about drying. This is where it gets really exciting for Metro. How you cure and dry plants can significantly impact the characteristics of the final product, such as potency, preservation, and the smoke flavor and quality. There are a variety of drying methods and products that can be adapted to your specific needs, such as racks for drying or hanging. The drying products you choose and how you control your drying room's temperature and humidity should be closely monitored and adapted to find the perfect combination. As you can see in this photo that I took at a facility, they had a great air circulation system. And something to note is if something in the room does not smell right, or if you smell an ammonia smell, you know you definitely do not have enough air circulation in that room. So let me tell you about Metro's Wave Dry Tray. You might be asking, how did they come up with such a design? Well, this is what happened. In 2018, we attended several cannabis trade shows in the US and in Canada. And it was our opportunity to speak with the cultivators to figure out what their pain points were in the drying process. What we heard was there were concerns about mold, flat buds, uneven drying, and making sure all of the product was rotated. We took all that feedback and we had several meetings and came up with a design for the Wave Dry Tray, which has, as you can see, the undulated surface, so those buds just sit gently on the tray. Other features which make the Wave Dry different from other trays are it's highly ventilated. There are openings on all sides, including the bottoms. It's easy to clean and it's corrosion proof. It has the inclusion of microban, which stops proliferation of mold, and it has an automatic built-in rotation feature. All of these features make the Wave Dry the perfect tray for the cannabis market. The Wave Dry trays are clean and safe. The trays are manufactured from food-safe polypropylene, and they're resistant to most cleaning agents. So it's a very easy product to clean. Many of our customers use dishwashers, and this tray is dishwasher safe and withstands temperatures of 212 degrees Fahrenheit. We have a number of custom as well as standard drying solutions. In this photo is actually a hemp provider who is using the RE3 chrome rack with the wave dry trays. We also offer this solution in stainless steel and a hybrid version of this in Metro Seal Gray and stainless steel. If you are in need of maximizing your space and you're in a very tight area and you just need to maximize out as much space as you possibly can, we can certainly configure for you a Metro high-rise solution. Sometimes there's nowhere to go but up, but we can help. So on the left is an actual environmental chamber where they're using the wave dry trays. And on the right is a stationary high-rise unit that would be in a typical dry room. In addition to the traditional drying environments, wave dries can also be found in a number of environmentally controlled cannabis drying chambers. One of the most frequent questions we get asked here is, how many trays do I need? So we have developed specific formulas that we worked out with cultivators where we can determine how many trays you will need to accommodate your yield. We will ask you, how many days a week are you processing? How many plants are you processing? And what is your expected yield per plant? From there, we develop the solutions that make the most sense for you. We are excited that Wave Dry is rated for direct food contact. One of the reasons this was so important is we've been selling heavily into the edibles market. So having this designation is just another reason to purchase the Wave Dry tray. With edibles, we're actually looking at a number of different configurations. As you can see, the increased airflow and reduced surface contact is just as important in edibles as it is in cannabis cultivation. Here's some examples of our edibles producers using our custom tray slide solutions to maximize out their space and efficiency. So one thing that's a little bit different about edibles is they do not require as much spacing as cannabis or hemp to cure. You can pretty much use about 1.5 inches in between each level, and that is more than sufficient. So we've talked a lot about the wave dry tray so far and tray drying in general, but I'm sure that you're wondering, what do the end users think? Well, these are actual quotes that I've received from the end users, and they're super helpful in helping us to determine what's the best scenario for our clientele to serve them better. One of the quotes that I have at the very end is the discussion about different colors of trays. This has been happening for over a year, and we will be moving forward with 3 new colors this fall. So let's talk about the other drying method, which is the hang dry method. One of the first racks that we developed was a hang/tray drying rack. And this rack was developed because the end user did not know if they would be hang drying or tray drying at the moment. So as you can see, it's one of our very first jobs. As you will see in this drawing, this room is 18.5 by 29 feet. Our client came to us asking to maximize out the space and provide as much hang drying space as possible. With limited space and a high yield, we maximize the height of the room by using high-rise shelving. We also incorporated mobile harvest carts to deliver the product. The cultivator provided us with the room dimensions, and we went from there. So if you are hang drying, one of the questions we ask you is, what is your product length going to be? Some products lengths are very long. They can be up to 24 to 28 inches, and then others could be less than a foot. So we'll work with you to customize a mobile cart that makes the most sense for your product. The renderings on this slide are a 12-foot stationary high-rise. We worked with a cultivator because they needed to maximize their space, and the only place to go was up. By installing a high-rise system, we were able to get one additional level of drying space throughout the size of the room, which ended up to be rather significant. Keep in mind, it is very important to plan for ductwork or anything hanging from the ceiling, as that will affect the height at where we can put the shelving. On to trimming and packaging. People will either choose to hand trim or machine trim their cannabis. Trimming is one of the most demanding jobs in the cannabis industry, and creating an ergonomic solution for trimmers is what we set out to do. Trimming solutions help increase the productivity of your trimmers while increasing your production. We have a trim station which has a variable height of 4 inches, so it allows for the trimmer to sit or stand. As we aim to deliver a trimming solution, we look to make sure it's ergonomic, efficient, and organized. Again, the cultivator will provide us with basically a room layout and say, this is the size of the room, how can we figure out the maximum amount of trimmers we can have in that space? And then we work with them to determine, are stainless steel tables with a wall-mounted shelving a good option, or do we want to do something with the trim mate with harvest carts and tray carts? We really work with you to figure out what is the best way to go about this trimming solution. Storing and securing. Of course, we are talking about extremely valuable product, typically housed in a very small room, and it's ready to be sold. We do a number of vault solutions for both cultivation facilities and dispensaries. Here's an example I'll walk you through of what happened when a cultivator came to us and said, we have a room 17 by 23 and we need to max out the space. It all started off with a hand drawing that then became rendered, that then became the final product. We do a number of these systems, as I mentioned, in dispensaries as well as cultivation facilities. Here's another image of a vault room that we did that really maximized out a ton of space. When looking to see how to maximize your space for the vault, a high density system is definitely the way to go. It will provide you with up to 40% additional storage space by utilizing what's called the movable aisle. So instead of all of these shelving units being individually set and having space in between to walk, the movable aisle moves and allows for maximum density. So this is one facility that we outfitted where there is just a ton of space and the cultivator couldn't be happier. So the one thing we know about cannabis is it's an ever-evolving landscape. Things looked very differently 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and even last year. So what I do to keep up to date on the cannabis industry in general is I follow Cannabis Business Times and I follow MJ Biz Daily. They're just two really good publications. We do not get paid to endorse them, but I just wanted to share with you because many people come to me and say, how do you actually know what's going on? It's because I receive their newsletters and they're very well done and they have the most up-to-date information for everyone. Metro has launched a series of design tools, which makes it really easy to customize and specify your rooms in 3D. So I'd like you to take a moment, check out the Metro website, play with the tools. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to connect you with your regional rep. As I mentioned in the very beginning, Metro has coverage throughout the world. So if there's anything we can do, I will be very happy to speak with you and connect with you. Thank you for joining.